Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Inferno cast. This is episode 032. I, of course, am Inferno Fox, and I am the host of this podcast, of which you can find here right on YouTube, as well as on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more, much, much more. And joining us today, we have our special guest, Mobster. He's my best friend and a fantastic sports fan. And that is going to be our theme tonight. And that's our topic. It's going to be about the wonderful world of sports ball. And this, of course, also in celebration of the Superb Owl, which is going to be this upcoming Sunday. So a big uh, like a really big thank you to my cast and crew, especially Mobster joining. And as we introduce one another, or as I introduce you, make sure that you show off our wonderful sports fashion show here. So for those of us that are listening on YouTube and watching on YouTube, you get to see our various jerseys, which so match our own personalities in real life. Because I've got the double zero Clark Griswold because I love the comedy movies. Mobster, thank you so much for joining us. And what jersey are you rocking
You're
there?
welcome. Oh, it's just a green version of the Blackhawks jersey. It's a Kane jersey.
Nice. Excellent. And Jason the 13th of the YouTube channel Jason the 13th. Thank you so much for joining us. And what jersey are you rocking?
I got a Jason Voorhees jersey, of course, with the blood splatter and everything.
Very nice. So you have your own you have your own literal namesakes jersey on right now.
Yep.
That's awesome. We also have Simbu Darkfang, our level 5 grandpa, primary actor over at Basement of the Dead. Basement of the Dead, of course, located in Aurora, Illinois, part of Chicagoland. So if you're in the area, definitely recommend checking that haunted house out. But Simbu, what kind of jersey are you rocking out today?
Oh, I'm always glad to come here and talk about Taylor Swift. I mean sports. Right? It's not Taylor Swift.
Not
But
yet.
I am rocking the special limited edition Disturbia Friday the 13th event jersey. Disturbia is a sister haunt to Basement of the Dead found in Downers Grove, Illinois, which is, again, here in Chicagoland.
Excellent. Looking really good there. And also we have Stormrosesky of the Twitch and YouTube channels of Stormrosesky. Storm, what kind of jersey are you rocking for us here?
Uh, well, I do have a Friday the 13th one that is in my closet along with the Avengers Tony Stark um jersey as well. Neither one I am wearing, but you get to see Mario Tennis for those of you watching this lovely podcast on YouTube. And before you ask, my next upcoming video, I'm hoping to do my top 5 favorite books from childhood and looking about doing something different with the video content for that. So we'll just playing around with some ideas. So there you
Cool.
go.
Very cool. Definitely looking forward to that. And finally, we have my partner in crime, Jamie Owls 87. Jamie Owls, thank you so much for joining us. And what jersey are you currently rocking? I'm gonna guess that's gonna be two rambunctious cats.
Yeah, they're not rambunctious yet, but they're sleeping by me, and I am not wearing a jersey at all. I'm boring.
No, that's all right. So we're rocking our sports gear for our as I mentioned, our fantastic sports cast here. And really specifically, we're going to be talking about like the overall sports ball video games that we like and the ones that we don't like. And really, before we jump into that, we're going to do the pre-discussion topic, two of them really quick. First, let's do our Super Bowl predictions. So I predicted it was going to be a Kansas City Chiefs versus San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl, although I was hoping it was going to be where what was it, the Cleveland Browns against the Packers, or the Cleveland Browns against the Detroit Lions? I mean, I believe my favorite video game series is Final Fantasy, so I like fantasy, so it's nice to fantasize about stuff that really aren't realistic, especially the Browns Lions matchup, unfortunately. But my prediction is for the Super Bowl, I'm gonna say the Chiefs are gonna win 24-21. Taylor Swift is going to run down to the field, and Travis Kelce is going to propose on the field as they both say, we're going to Disney World. Mobster, what is your Super Bowl prediction?
Oh man, I don't know. It's really hard because I really want the 49ers to win. Um, it should be a really good game. I feel like the 49ers are the better team, even though Kansas City is a great team. They've done a lot with not a ton of like star players to get where they're at. But I think 49ers are more all around. As long as they're healthy, I think they should pull it out. And I'm gonna say like 20, we'll say 27-24 49ers.
Nice. Jason the 13th, how about you?
Well, if it's rigged, KC wins without a problem. If it's not rigged, I'm along with Mobster here, and I think 49ers have a really good chance of winning it. Although I think the score might be a little bit higher, like it'll be like a 32 to like a 24 or something like that. But
Interesting. A game of 2-point conversions. Nice. Simbu, how about you?
Realistically, I honestly have no opinion either way.
roll some dice and pick.
Let's see.
Flip a coin.
Pencil. Kansas City. Why not?
It would have been bad though if you flipped that 20-sided die. You probably would have flipped a 1, had a critical failure, and your chair would have broke.
Very possible. But my prediction isn't going to be on the score. My prediction is going to be the over-under of 15 Taylor Swift cutaways.
That's fair. That's fair. Stormrosesky, Storm, what is your superb owl prediction?
Until you started talking about it and confirmed which teams were in it for me, that's how much I care. I had a feeling that Kansas City was in it only because of the utter chaos that has become the media storm around the relationship of one of their players with Miss Taylor Swift. So, I'm going to make the prediction given off of the educated opinion that Mobster had, because he is, out of all of us, the most educated
For football, yes.
on this topic. So, the 49ers, but I will agree with Jason the 13th. If it's rigged, the Chiefs will get it because, oh my God, they've been loving the media storm. Okay. The NFL and all this with all the little Taylor girls. And I think she's going to be in Japan, quite honestly. So, like, or being there.
Show there on Saturday night. So it'd
Yeah.
be a hell of a flight to get there or whatever. But
yeah, that's the whole big deal. But her trying to maybe, what was one of the rumors that Biden was going to allow her to use Air Force One to get there? And it's like, are you sorry? Are you kidding me? Because that's protected airspace and all of that. But so realistically,
she also has her own private jet. So I mean, they really can't be that impossible to do.
Yeah, I just doubt she'll be there. So the poor woman, who cares? Anyway, who cares? There's going to be a trans DJ the first time ever at that halftime show, which is a big deal for the trans industry. So
nice.
So there's all of my give to hoots about the super poopy bowl.
You want more of the two F's about the Super Bowl? I didn't know anyone or anything about the halftime show until now.
Oh, so there, see? There you go.
Because it's all about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I guess so.
Jamie Owls, how about you? What is your Superb Owl prediction?
Honestly, I have to agree with Simbu. I don't have an opinion on it. I haven't really been into football the last couple of years because the Chicago Bears weren't playing the greatest, so it kind of lost my motivation. I don't know if I would have to like pick. Maybe I'll just guess Kansas City. Maybe because I'm picking that more because it's where my all-time favorite movie took place, was just Kansas. So
Although no, Kansas City technically is located in Missouri, so
oh, whoops, my bad. But I'll still pick Kansas City.
yeah,
Well, there
it's
is Kansas City, Kansas. But
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
Chiefs part of Missouri? Or the Chiefs, the Kansas City that is in Missouri? They're not Kansas's team, right?
I think it is in
I mean,
Missouri.
Okay.
It's a fair question. I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you.
yeah, it's a fair question and one that I'm sure we're all really not worried about.
Yeah, I will ask my friend who, lives in Kansas. I'm sure she knows, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you can really just tell the some of us really aren't as big football fans, but there's just really this whole like meh sense about it, and it's probably just due to the
Mhm.
fact that it's a predictable one where Kansas City's been there, I think 4 out of the 5 last years or something like that. So I say in celebration of this mundanity, let's talk about the most mundane of all video game genres, the sports genre. And that's where we're going to be celebrating the annual release of various sports games that barely iterate, yet still encompass over 11% of all of the video game sales. And what better company delivers most of these iterations, like Madden, NHL, PGA Tour, FIFA, or I'm sorry, not FIFA, FC, than the wonderful company that is the glorious EA. I mean, this is one of the greatest companies ever, right? With winning such accolades as worst company in America 2 years in a row, 2012 and 2013. I mean, okay, so I know I'm dumping on sports games quite a bit, and I will admit that I don't personally play these games all the time, or barely at all. I have in my 35 years plus of video gaming history, have played a number of these annual iterations, and I've found them lacking in a number of areas. My biggest gripe is easily, though, with the Madden series. I dislike the gameplay loop that these games have. When in a game, the player picks a play to have the team of computer controlled players enact and react to. If the player's on offense, though, fortunately, they control the quarterback and decide whom to throw the ball to. But on defense, the player controls one of 11 players there. To me, it just feels like being in control of just one of 11 players all the time, leaving the game mostly in the hands of the computer player. So, based on those crazy viewpoints of mine, Mobster, I'm calling on you purposely, because I know you like Madden, and I want you to refute everything that I'm saying, because you like, not only do you like you're the one literally who got me into football to begin with. I the most that I learned about football was from the Tiny Toons video game on the Super Nintendo. That was the most, until you got me into being into like the Bears and everything, and just sports in general. Well, shoot, specifically football. So, Mobster, I'm just curious to kind of get your thoughts, and how many of the Madden series that you played, what works for you, what doesn't work, but more importantly, what you most enjoy with Madden.
Well, to be honest, I haven't played a Madden game and I don't even know how many years, probably a good 10, 12, 14 years, roughly. I played it a ton when it first came out. In the first probably, I don't know, 10 years. It's a fun game. It's always fun to play against someone. I always have more fun playing against another person as opposed to just playing against the computer. It's strategy, right? Depending on your offensive play against the defensive play and if it works or it doesn't. Yes, there are 11 players on the field at once and you're only controlling one of them, but there's only one of you, so it's a little hard to control all 11. It would be pretty wild to get like 11 actual people playing a game against 11 people playing a game and all control one person to be like actually playing a full-on human game like that. It just is, I feel like way too much of an ask. I mean, like really, where are you going to get like 22 people to play a game, right? So like, I don't know if there's capability of like having two people on the same team, like where you can have two people playing on defense or offense or not. But again, because it's been so long since I played, but I feel like that would be pretty cool. But it's just fun. I mean, you love the sport, you love the game. I feel like you have a tendency to want to play those things. I mean, if you like it that much, with any game, any computerized game and computer like playing, there's always going to be some errors and stuff like that and whatnot. But I mean, I don't know, they're fun. I just haven't played it in forever. I guess I don't play too many games in general, and I don't have none of my friends really, for the most part, are interested in playing them or play them. So, I mean, I don't spend a ton of time playing video games, and there's other ones I'd rather play than the sports games.
No, and you make some really good points there. The whole strategic element of it, yeah, maybe it is a thing where, okay, you control just one of the 11, but in a way you're also playing coach by selecting the plays. And one of the things I was thinking of when I was typing up that whole diatribe that I had just said was, I'm a victim of my own argument where I play a number of RPG games where, especially nowadays, they have a thing where you control one of the individuals, but then your entire party is controlled by computers. So one of the games that has done this really well RPG wise is called Tales of Arise, where I control one of the characters, but the other 5 they're controlled by computers. So again, same thing, where it's not just the fact that it's all computer controlled, but you're in kind of the coaches and players chair of having that sort of level of control. I think you're right where you can have two people on the same team. It would be interesting, maybe I'm going to embarrass myself here when you're on defense or something where you could have 2 linebackers. You would control one and your teammate would control the other. That could be fun. Or where you're in control of the quarterback on offense and your fellow friend or teammate is one of the wide receivers that goes wide out to throw to them. So, Jason the 13th, I know that you've played Madden quite a bit with Mobster and whatnot. What are your thoughts on Madden?
I definitely enjoyed playing them. They're definitely a time killer, and I don't know if we played too many of like the season stuff, but we didn't play every single year. Like we didn't have to buy every year that came out. We would buy, say, Madden 2004, and then the next one we'd get maybe like 2007, where we took a couple of years in between, and then you'd get it. Because if there was 1 or 2 that we did do like back to back, and there was hardly any changes in like a single year between the games. So I don't think you need them every single year, but I get why they do it because of all the roster changes and everything like that. But having the game and playing it. I don't think you need to be buying it every single year, basically. That, especially if you're looking for changes in the games, because sometimes they have big changes, but a lot of times they don't. Like Mobster said, we haven't played a lot of sports games in a long time now, but the Madden franchise was one that we all enjoyed, and I know like my dad enjoyed it, my brothers enjoyed it, and anyone that came over, we just had fun playing Madden against each other. So
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned an interesting point, and I'm going to kind of move up this sort of discussion point. Like, what are your guys' thoughts about the whole iterative nature of these sports games, again, coming out annually, and how this would compare to something like a single game like Fork Knife, but where Fork Knife though just updates kind of within like 3 to 4 times a year with season changes and obviously chapter changes. So what if EA did something like that with one of their sports games, but then updated it annually as the rosters sort of change? Would something like that be more appealing to you guys, or what are the general arguments on that? Simbu, let me, if you don't mind me getting your sort of thoughts on that.
So from what I've experienced, and I've just picked up WWE 2K23. I have pre-ordered 2K24, and that is completely unrelated to having to have the sports games. This is something to do with Scurry Face and whatnot. But from what I've seen of sports games is, yes, there's roster changes, there's new players. However, when it comes to general roster changes, like if you play, for example, the NHL games, the teams and coaches the AI can trade players at will. So if, Patrick Kane is on the Blackhawks, and let's say he's, doing okay this season, but he's not doing great. And let's say Buffalo really, really wants him, and they'll throw like they will. The AI will make a trade. Will make trades in and of itself and change it. But it could also have to do with potentially linking to the online and the servers where the roster changes, happen via update to the server. But one of the bigger things that I've noticed, especially in 2K23 for WWE's game, is that there is a showcase mode that changes every iteration. This current one was playing through all of John Cena's like major matches and things like that. So next year, I think it's Roman Reigns is they're highlighting. So that's going to be a completely different thing. They have the My Rise, which is the Create a Superstar campaign mode to the game. This year's was the Lock and the Legacy. I think and next year they're changing it again. So there's a whole new campaign to it. But there's also a My Franchise mode, which is you get these, it's like opening card packs for Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! You open cards, you get cards, you set your stable, you set your faction, and then you go up against other live players and things like that. So that one right there, however, is the most money pit EA scumbaggy thing. And yes, EA, I have my wallet right here. It's ready to go for this entire conversation. But that's one of those where you buy like those loot crates and those random packs, and you get random cards for your currency and stuff like that, and that does not carry over year to iteration to iteration. So all the 2023 stuff you had is gone when you move up to 2024 or 24, and then you have to start all over again. So yes, I would love to see stuff like that happen, like them to embrace the Fortnite style where, okay, 2K24 is coming out. Instead of charging you, $70 for a new game, here's $40 if you already have 23, and these are the updates this is like the whole new update to 23. It's like a DLC or expansion kind of setup. I think would be I would like to see a lot more happen. But of course, if that were to happen, you would have to go. They would start having to go with the more free to play model, and we know that's not going to, because there's enough market. It's like Call of Duty going free to play. Look at Warzone versus Modern Warfare 3. You know, weigh the plates there.
Yeah, and I feel like you kind of hit the nail on the head where EA could they could, you know, just and continue to iterate throughout the various console generation, and then maybe a new generation comes out and you buy a new game or something. But there's no need for them to, because there's, like you said, there's the audience that will pay $70
Yep.
year over year and constantly pay for the additional content and the loot boxes and the loot crates. So why forego any of that sort of money?
Right, especially when you can get that even if they just buy the base game for PS4 right now, which is $60 because it's last gen, 70 for the cross gen edition, which, you know, extra $10 is not a bad idea, especially like people who have a PS4 but are upgrading to a PS5 soon. Might as well just get the cross gen. So there's $70 right there base. Now, then you go up to the deluxe edition, which is the $100, and then you've got the one above that, which is $120 for 2K24. At least I spent the $100 one. Okay, I'm not worried about the WrestleMania DLC. But that's the thing. Like, again, you could get all this nickel and dime money, but they look at it like, oh, but we lost the, you know, initial currency. Like, well, yeah, but a lot more people on free to play. Look at us with Fortnite. We have all spent way more money on Fortnite than we would probably have if the game was not a free to play.
And it's funny too. I'm in my mind, I have EA's counter argument, and they're going to counter with the fact the licensing agreements, the how much it costs to license stuff from the NHL, the NFL, the NBA. Used to be NASCAR. EA lost that license in 2010, and just how much all that stuff costs and everything, and EA. And to my audience, I'm gonna speak about something that I have a limited amount of knowledge to. So be kind in the comments, or not, you know, flame wars, whatever. Feel free to comment in the section below. I'm going to mention FIFA, where EA and FIFA were embroiled in a money battle where I think FIFA asked for like $1 billion a year, $1 billion a year for the licensing rights to have the FIFA title and everything on the game. So that's why it's not, they went from FIFA 2023 to FC Football Club 24. EA had enough of FIFA's Bojazz, and they had said, nope, we don't have to pay for the FIFA title. We'll just have our own soccer game. And when FC 24 came out, October, November last year, it was still the #1 selling game. It was still #1. And call me crazy, like I'm not an EA fan, but I dislike FIFA much, much more. I mean, if we think EA is one of the worst companies, FIFA is one of the most corrupt organizations on the planet. So I'm just glad that, you know, hey, EA is not dumping the money into that like dumping that into the organization. Storm, I'm gonna bug you for your opinion on the iterative sort of gameplay, or not gameplay, the iterative nature or releases of these like EA sports titles. But a general question, I'm going to ask you guys if you guys have played any of the FIFA series at all. And the only reason I'm mentioning that is story time. I worked at a tech company last year, and when I was getting to know my various teammates that actually worked for said tech company, one thing I noticed whenever they had mentioned they played video games, again, these are the actual employees of said tech company, they said that they played video games, but they mostly said FIFA. They didn't really say many other games besides maybe a Mario Kart here or there if their kids did, or maybe they played the original NES or something. But if they play games now, it mostly was like FIFA. So it's interesting just to see like that be a thing, and just how surprisingly pervasive that series is, you know. So general question, and then Storm, I'll ask you again. But have you guys, and you guys played FIFA at all? The football soccer game?
I don't think so.
Maybe a soccer game back on the Sega Genesis.
I know Mobster has, but he's probably played the exact same one as me because it's still in my collection. I have a soccer game on the PlayStation. Yeah, PlayStation. It's got to be like a 96 or
20 years ago?
97. Exactly. Exactly. We had a soccer game on the PlayStation though, because it's still in my collection.
Yeah.
So we did play one of the soccer games.
I was going to say, Jason, I'm surprised you didn't say, yep, I played a soccer game. It was Mega Man Soccer for the Super Nintendo.
I never got to play that one.
Oh man, if we go to a video game convention, you need to put that on your radar.
I would
It's
totally
rare.
buy that.
It's rare,
totally
but it's a good one.
I have a question about the annual comes out every year game like that you guys are talking about.
Mhm.
I know a big thing with sports games is also like graphics. So like Fortnite's graphics don't really change much. They're pretty the same. To where sports games, they're always trying to make it more and more realistic, more and more realistic. I mean, you can obviously go back and look at ones and the comparison of graphics and how they've changed. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, or you can inform me and tell me, because I don't know. If it's one continuous game and they just do updates, is it able to update the graphics as well as part of that?
Yes, Simbu's going to tell you about Fork Knife. Take it away, Simbu.
Yes. I understand where you're coming from, Mobster. The issue is that when they try and upgrade these graphics and upgrade the graphics and upgrade the graphics and get better pixels and things like that, a lot of that's going to come down to the system capacity, the GPU and the CPU of the system itself. It's going to come down to the engine that's available. And I don't know, I could be wrong. And Inferno Fox, you could always correct me on this, but there's not a new engine every single year.
No.
So,
and
as with
and to kind of go on top of that, because Simbu's 100% correct. There's a law of diminishing returns as the systems have come out. Like the PS4 did look better than the PS3, but it wasn't as much of an improvement as the PS3 to the PS2, and not as much of an improvement as the PS2 to the PS1, like graphic wise. And really, the most notable was the difference between the PS5 and the PS4, insofar as not as noticeable. Where the biggest returns we're starting to see with a lot of these games, video games in general, is like the internal structure that allows games to run better. So like the Xbox Series X and the PS5 having the SSD, solid state drive, versus the previous systems having just the manual spinning drive, and it basically allows little to no loads. So the games themselves between now and the last 10 years, yeah, they'll probably look a little bit better, to even just better, but it's not going to be like if you compared 2014 to 2004, then you'd be like, wow, that's different. Or 2004 to 1994. I'm just thinking of NHL 04 compared to like the Sega Genesis NHL 94. I'm going to argue NHL 94 is the better game gameplay wise, but 04 is going to look a lot prettier. Does that kind of answer your questions, Mobster?
No.
Okay, so we got a little off kilter there, but to explain the Fortnite paradox here, when Epic Games released Unreal 5.1, what they were able to do at a season change for Fortnite, season/chapter change, I believe it was when we moved into chapter 4, that this change took effect. they were through an update, by pushing an update through for the chapter change, that was able to upgrade the engine as well, which is why a lot of people were like, why is this download so massive compared to how it was before, or by previous chapters? And that's because it was implementing a lot of the new engines features, source code and things like that. The other thing is that everybody predominantly connects to Epic Games themselves to play Fortnite. So a lot of your changes can happen through the Epic servers themselves. Now, if EA were to do the same thing, then yeah, they would easily be able to, we got Unreal 5.2 come out. So we can go ahead and in your next update, boom, we can just push all that content through to your system.
And it should be noted that Epic actually owns Unreal Engine. So when Forknife moved from Unreal 4 to 5, that really was a big enhancement graphic wise and engine wise. EA wouldn't be. I think EA, a lot of the sports games either runs on their own proprietary one, so maybe they could push that. But if they pay the money if they do Unreal, I'm betting it would take a little bit more like workhorse or work power to be able to do that. But yeah, so like
right,
oh no, God.
I was gonna say, yeah, and of course, like that's where that comes into play. But for using the example of Epic owning Unreal, and the Unreal Engine, to your point, that if the EA owns its own engine to run these games, you know what I mean? Then it would be a simple fact of, we've got engine 4 here, and then we could just, set engine 5 and do basically the same thing as Epic did with Unreal.
It's Fortnite. Interesting. I had to Google it. Apparently all the EA games, sports and a lot of even stuff like Battlefield run on the Frostbite engine, and it's it's developed by DICE, DICE. Interesting. And it's owned by Electronic Arts. So there you go.
Simple question is if EA were to have a football game that just continuously updated instead of a 2023, 2024, 2025, and it just updated, the graphics would be updated as well?
They could.
Yes, it could be done.
Yep, it could absolutely be done, because then the downloads and everything would be off of their own servers versus on the disk. It's essentially a game. I mean, it's software. So yeah, absolutely, they could, but they won't, because they'll lose a lot of money. They're all about that. Speaking of that, Storm, getting back to you, I kind of want to get your feedback just generally on the iterative annual nature of the video games, of the sports games, especially with EA, and just kind of what we've talked about thus far. Storm, what are your thoughts on this?
Why? That is why. That is just, I don't understand that every year there needs to be a new one. I mean, the rosters of players on these teams does not change drastically for some of these bigger hoo-ha teams. So I don't get it. That is just something that just blows my mind. So I don't understand. The technology in the video games cannot change all that much, so there can't, like, year to year, what is the freaking difference? What's the difference?
This is where Simbu holds up his money clip.
Well, no, not just that. You say that there's not a big difference, but tell that to every player who gets drafted that now has even the smallest person who you'll never hear on TV's name. Their name now goes into the video game, and their name's now in a professional team. And
well, there you go.
They do it. There's a lot more little stuff behind that.
But like roster changes are so easy to do. It's essentially a change in like hexadecimals and
if you were talking
some polygonal models.
If you're talking the update stuff, yes, you're right. But as again, they got in the trope just like Pokemon. Pokemon doesn't need 2 copies of each game anymore. With the DLC and online trading, you don't need to get both copies. But just like a fanboy that I am, I have to buy both copies every time it comes out. Why? Because they started it with red and blue, and it's just a tradition, apparently. Yep. And
it's about the
sports
money.
did the same thing. It is about the money, because Pokemon knows they don't need Scarlet and Violet anymore. They could just put out one. But then you have your big fans who are going to complain that they dropped it to one game, and they know they sell both copies to most of their fans anyways. So why cut out that money? So sports, way back when they started doing updates every year and putting out new games, it came with tradition to where they realized that they don't need to do the Fortnite theory. They could just keep putting out the games. People keep paying it. I personally don't see the need to buy it every single year, but some people like it.
Yeah, it's literally the whole capitalistic idea of if there's a market, they're going to sell to it, and
Yep.
that's literally what it is. And I'm with you, Storm, and with you, Jason, in regards to the sports ball, just general nature, the annual nature, or it's just like, but that's the huge caveat that if there was a Final Fantasy game every year, a mainline one, my dumb butt would be buying
it
every single year, year over year, and I did when it was every year.
Mhm.
So what does that say? It says we all have our weaknesses, some for RPG series for for weebs such as myself, and some for the sports ball fans. But one important thing is that not all of these sports games are creatively and, well, hell, morally bankrupt. There are a number of sports games done well and or are innovated really well. And Simbu kind of touched upon this when he was talking about his wrestling games. I'm gonna say 3 titles, and anybody who's been watching and listening to the podcast are gonna know, especially after I mentioned Simbu. I'm gonna say 3 titles of different types of sports games: WWF No Mercy, the NBA Jam series, especially in the 90s, and NFL Blitz, because they essentially take the tried and true formulas of these sports and make them fun and exciting. Now, with the WWF No Mercy, it is by its very nature a wrestling based off of the show and everything kind of game or gameplay, but it did so in an arcade style that was really fun. And whereas you got NBA Jam and NFL Blitz that takes the standard rules of basketball and football, American football respectively, and kind of puts it on its head and adds a little bit of that attitude and stuff on fire and everything like that. So
Dunk from half court.
yes, yeah. If you're on fire and you're the Detroit Pistons playing against the Bulls, you will never miss. You will never miss because the game is rigged. It literally is. NBA Jam is literally rigged to give the Detroit Pistons the edge over the Chicago Bulls, because a lot of the coders were from Detroit and they hated the Bulls, especially if you know the NBA and basketball lore with the whole Detroit versus Chicago thing in the early 90s. Blah, 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 blah. That's sports ball.
Yeah.
My main question for you guys: NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, WWF No Mercy. Have you guys played these at all? But I'm going to start with Jamie Owls. Have you played any of those 3 games I've mentioned?
I did when I was a kid because my brother had most of those games growing up, and of course I mostly watched him play. I think I played a couple of games with him, but yeah, he had more of those games because he was more into the sports games than I was, and I only liked, the Mario Kart 1080 when that came out for the 64. So I play a little bit of sports games.
Nice. Yeah, and if we had a big enough place, I would love to have like an NBA Jam cabinet arcade in our game.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Oh. Storm, how about you? NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, WWF No Mercy.
I know I've played some WWF games back in the day and the NBA Jam for sure. And I do have one NBA game on the Switch because it was the NBA 2K 21 because it ended up being like $3.99 or $4.99. So it was like, why not? Because out of all the sport balls out there, basketball is my favorite and has been my favorite since I was a kid. So yeah, I've played just one or two of those. It's been a very long time, but for sure, I've
Nice.
checked them out.
Jason, how about you? Any takers on that?
Okay, so quick look up because I wasn't sure on the wrestling game because we played a bunch of wrestling games on the Nintendo and probably Super Nintendo, but this the No Mercy on the Nintendo 64, I'm pretty sure I did not play that one. When looking it up and seeing the picture and everything, I don't think I ever played that one. NBA Jam, only played it at my cousin's house because they were big on basketball. We never owned it. So I don't know if Mobster would have played it at our cousin's either, but he might have. And then football, I'm pretty sure we played that one. We played a lot of the football games when we were younger. So played the broken ones where forgive me
Bo
for not
Jackson.
that was Techno Bowl. And then there was another one that Joe Montana was broken. So
I see Mobster kind of shaking his head a little bit.
Yep. If you
Techno Super Bowl.
that was the Bo Jackson
Yep.
Techno Super Bowl. If you were Bo Jackson, you couldn't miss a pass, you couldn't get tackled, you just ran the whole field. And then
Could
there was
not catch you.
and then I forget which one the other football game was, but if you were Joe Montana, you never missed a pass.
Might have been the same
Nothing you did. I don't think it was the same one. I think they were two different ones. I think. I could be wrong.
I do believe Joe Montana had his own game.
Yeah, it might have been that one, but I don't remember exactly which one it was that was broken with Joe Montana.
Yeah, Mobster, I don't remember playing NBA Jam with you, but I think that's because I used to play it in like junior high or something like that.
Old game. I definitely played it. Not, I wouldn't say a ton, but I definitely have played it. Same thing. I played probably out of those games. Jason would have been able to tell you if he played that wrestling game, then I probably played it because,
like I said, Nintendo 64. We didn't have that one.
I played very little of NFL Blitz, and I played the most of all those of the NBA Jam. Not a big basketball person, so but if I wanted to play football game, I wanted to play Madden. I like wanted to play the realistic version of it. That was my what's the word I'm looking for? Preference. I get it. Blitz was fun. It's definitely a different take on things, and not realistic, but that I want to be like, I want to do the realistic thing. So
now, what's funny with football, the American football, is the fact that out of all of the spin-off series for Mario, there has never been an American football version of Mario, like Mario doing American football. All the other sports, you had Mario Tennis, you had soccer / football, you had golf, you had baseball. There was rumors that a new baseball game was coming to the Switch, but that really hasn't materialized. And then, of course, you have the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, but nothing with American football.
There's a simple reason behind that.
Oh, I know. It's because it's American football and it's a Japanese company.
And Japanese, as far as I know, unless somebody corrects me, does not have American football in their country.
And it's funny, you would think that maybe they'd have some sort of like rugby alternative.
I would think.
Australian football or something like that.
That I would think.
So my hot take salad, and hopefully I'm not gonna touch a nerve too much with one of my cast and crew here, specifically the one that has the Mario avatar. If you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully I don't touch too much of a nerve, but in regards to the sports games, I personally, me, Inferno Fox, believe out of all the versions of these Mario Switch or Mario sports games, the Switch versions of all of them are the weakest versions on almost all of those sports games. If it's soccer, if it's golf, if it's tennis, if it's on the Switch, it's going to be the weakest version of that, maybe with the exception of tennis. I actually think the Wii U version of Mario Tennis is the weakest. Yeah, I'm sticking with that. The Wii U version of Mario Tennis is the weakest, with the Switch version being the second weakest. That being said, my thought on that is that it's due to Nintendo and their partners working to make them more like kind of like live service titles, meaning they're releasing. So like Mario Strikers, the soccer game came out, and there'd be 8 people on the field. There's only 10 selectable characters. So there would often be doubles where you see Luigi both being on the team you're playing and you're also playing against Luigi. Like kind of like stuff like that. And then they tend to iterate and add towards these Mario sports games over time. So, but regardless of all of that, the simplicity of these Mario sports games really are often what make the general sports genre themselves more approachable, especially for kids and parents to play with their kids. So like it oftentimes kind of like how Pokemon is a lot of kids' first RPG games. Sometimes the Mario sports games are the kids' first foray into sports, and it's something that allows them to get into this. So Storm, I'm going to ask you to respond to my hot take salad. Ask what your favorite Mario sports title is, and what made that so great.
Okay. I'm glad you went with the corrected yourself and went with the Wii being the weakest of the Mario Tennis, because Mario Tennis on the Switch is by far my favorite of the Mario sports games. Besides Mario Kart, but I can't. We're talking sports, and I have a hard time considering racing in this kind of sports a sport. When we're talking football, basketball, baseball, soccer, it's not a physical sport to me. So that set aside, Mario Tennis on the Switch. Not just because it's my most recently played, and I just love the Switch. No, I've won a couple of championships on it and gotten to play online and did all of that. So like won against people online and beat my computer players and whatnot. So it just sucked me in, and Rosalina is my favorite character on there. She's my go-to on Mario Kart as well. But yeah, I the other ones I can't speak to. The soccer, I never got into soccer, and I that's going back to the FIFA. I've never played those games and have no interest in playing them. And oh my God, the amount of children that absolutely love soccer. So I understand why those games are popular, but that organization is a horrible organization. But yeah, so Mario soccer, no, nothing like that. So I could I'll respect your opinion about the other games, because I can't say one way or another, but I will defend Mario Tennis on the Switch being superb to the Mario Tennis earlier renditions on the Wii and whatnot.
Yeah, and specifically like the one on the Wii U, the Mario Tennis on the Wii U was just awful, because it's like, okay, it took all of the courts and everything that was on the Wii, simplified them, removed a lot of them, and then it just added one thing where there would be mega mushrooms on the court. You pick up a mega mushroom, your character is really big for a time, a few serves, and then that's it. That's all that they iterated and added. Whereas at least the Mario Tennis on the Switch went back and iterated and added a lot of additional content, and the game is now better now than how it was when it released, of course, because it's got the additional courts and additional characters and everything. But I personally think the Nintendo 64 version of Mario Tennis is the best, but that's because I'm biased on that. I remember Mobster and I played that, not a lot, not a ton, but Mobster and I played Mario Tennis on the 64 a bit. A good, right, Mobster? Played
Yeah, I
that.
was gonna ask, is that what was the first one that we played? That's probably might be the only one I played, or maybe on the GameCube. Was there GameCube version?
Yeah.
Then I might have played the GameCube and maybe that one. It's been God, it's too long to even Nintendo 64. I can't barely remember. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna go with probably the game. I don't know, because the Wii and the Wii U were both more interactive, right?
Yeah, with
Like
like
you,
the motion controls, you
yeah.
had that as an option, and
I think I like the last one before that. I think the GameCube, is that right?
yeah.
I believe that. But yeah, we definitely played some, not a ton of it, but we definitely played it on the 64 as well together.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Did you play any of the golf ones at all, Mobster, Jason?
Any like Mario
I
golf
don't
games?
think
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, Tiger Woods was the main golf game that I
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, there was also that Hot Shots golf that that our
Oh yeah,
dad
we did
got
play that some.
into.
We definitely played
Yep.
that some.
Our dad got into that one big time, and we liked that one too.
yeah. See, like my favorite of the golf would probably be the Mario Golf on the Game Boy Color, because that one played more like an RPG where you didn't play as Mario, Luigi, or anybody like that. You played as like normal people, where you have to play and compete against other people, and as you play, you gain levels, you can increase your power, you can increase your accuracy and stuff like that. And that led actually to a whole subgenre of sports indie titles like Golf Story. And unfortunately, I think Sports Story wasn't as good as Golf Story, but like a lot of those really kind of mix. It's an odd mix where you mix sports and RPG mechanics, but I just feel like it works. And me being the RPG nut, it's really really kind of cool. I do want to touch upon golf before we kind of call it, but before we do, Jamie Owls, what are some of your favorite Mario sports titles?
Uh, if you count Mario Kart,
Hmm.
I have not played Mario Tennis at all. I tried very, very little of that Mario football game, I believe that came out last year.
Oh yeah, the Mario Strikers.
Yes, I played a little bit of that,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to think of what other Mario sport related. Yeah, no, the only one I could really think of that I play a lot more is just Mario Kart.
It's a shame too, because the Mario Strikers on the GameCube was probably the one of the best of the sports games in general. Like for being like a soccer game and just all the mechanics and everything that I had, it's definitely really good. So
Yeah.
as we sort of wrap up here, I'm gonna bug Simbu, get Simbu's feedback both on what, if applicable, his favorite like Mario sports title would be, and or his thoughts on the PGA golf or Tiger Woods golf games.
I mean, if we're talking Mario sports games, I'm kind of with Jamie Owls. If Mario Kart counts, then let's just go with Mario Kart. Was never really a never really played any of the Mario sports games at all, except maybe Mario and Sonic at the Summer Olympics, I believe it was.
Everybody loves Mario Kart.
Although if they put out a Mario hockey, we could get Simbu to play it like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good point. They to my knowledge, they haven't.
I can't
Nope,
think
there's
of a
not
Mario
been
hockey.
Closest thing there was curling, since it plays on ice.
I don't know if you can consider that close to hockey.
It's funny, there was a Mario basketball game. I think
Yes,
a couple of them.
I do remember the basketball.
Sorry, Simbu. Go ahead and continue.
But if we're gonna talk, the golf games, the last one I had played, I have 2K23, PGA Tour 23, whatever. They definitely added a lot of mechanic changes because the last one before that was Tiger Woods 2010. That as far as golf games I had played, so a lot of new swing mechanics on harder difficulties, but I stay with the lower difficulties because the people the AI I'm playing against are higher higher difficulty than my swing abilities or my swing skills and whatnot. But again, it's fun. It's a good kind of chill game to play. Because whack the ball, get in the cart, whack the ball, get in the cart. Good old, Robin Williams throwback for our comedy fans out there. And of course, to play against friends, it's fun. Go and play some of these created courses that players have made and get to go play them, and found some really, really good ones. We've only found like 2 trash created courses that were like, really, this course should be removed from the game and all existence because it's dumb. But again, it's one of those games. The golf games, I will say, depending on how you play, you really don't need to upgrade.
Yeah, because ultimately golf is golf, right? I should mention Mario Sports Mix, released on the Wii and Wii U, is a sports game that has Mario and team playing volleyball, dodgeball, basketball, and hockey.
Really? Don't even know that one offhand.
Yeah, must have done the second entry was, of course, on the Wii U, and that was DOA. So if they're not going to port that on the Switch, we're not going to hear about it. So kind of final thoughts, Mobster, on Tiger Woods PGA Tour.
It's been a long time since I played one. It was my go-to golf game. I don't know. I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of choices when it came to golf games. So that was like that was the big, most popular, realistic kind of thing, and that was the main one we played. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Again, like Simbu said, it's more of a chill, relax. It's a golf game. It's not you're not constant moving and like high intensity plays or anything like that. So it's a good chill game and fun to play against your friends and make a drinking game out of it or bet out of it or whatever you want to do. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed it quite a bit. We did play a lot. My dad liked it a lot, and we would play it a lot. But it's been a while since I've played, and again, I just my number of games I've played has dwindled, and I focus mainly on just like a couple, 2-3 games.
Nice. Yeah, but no, you definitely have good experiences with the sports genre overall. So it's really interesting to get kind of your feedback, especially with something like the Tiger Woods PGA Tour. And it's funny because I wasn't enjoying playing that game, but when you threw me the 360 controller back, I think in 2007, and that version of it, I'm like, this isn't half bad. It's actually like, obviously golf is exactly that. It's golf. But if you're sitting in your like lazy boy or Papazon or Barker Lounge or whatever, and you're just relaxing and you just want to like chill and hang out, those games definitely are that. What aren't chill games and aren't relaxing are games like this, where you have motion control and motion and everything with kind of the sports and the sporting and everything. But that's for another day. That's for another podcast, because I want to take the time here just to say thank you to everybody for joining me on our Sportsball Sportscast, celebrating Taylor Swift's Super Bowl, 68, 70? What are we at, Mobster?
I think it's 58.
Oh, 58.
I think.
The Taylor Swift sponsored Super Bowl, where, if you're a vampire wizard, you'll go far on this. But I just want to again thank the fantastic cast and crew here. We of course have Mobster, my best friend, and a fantastic sports nut. Mobster, thank you so much for joining. Your pick was the 49ers to win the Super Bowl.
That's right. And don't forget, play Rocket League, because that's another good sports game.
Yes, Rocket League. That is a excellent point. It's the mix between soccer and RC cars. And Mobster, I know you raced RC cars like decades ago. Does that make, when you play Rocket League, do you wish that you could get into RC cars and play real life Rocket League in like an enclosed area with like a volleyball or something like that?
I honestly never thought of that, but it would be hilarious and very fun. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, like okay, now if that's something that we organize, I would get into that. I would definitely get into that among the actual Rocket League as well. That would be cool.
Fun fact, they have demolition derby style cars that they use to play that already. They have a giant blow up bubble ball that gets tossed out there, and you got two cars that are hitting the ball back and forth.
Full size cars, though, we're talking, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be cool with the RC cars, because it's like you still have that kind of overhead view, but although with the real size cars, Simbu, to your credit, it'd be a thing where in Rocket League, if I'm remembering it right, your camera view is kind of real close to the car, so in real life it would kind of be like that too, except you're in the car. Also, big thank you to Jason the 13th of the YouTube channel Jason the 13th, who has his laptop back. Will hopefully be getting us some new content. And Jason, you picked the Chiefs to win, right?
Well, I said if the Super Bowl's rigged, Chiefs are definitely winning. Otherwise, I'm rooting for the 49ers also.
Gotcha.
And
always rooting.
real quick, just it is Super Bowl 58, and Kansas City is in Missouri. So yes,
yeah, Missouri.
KC is Missouri. Yes,
nice. And Simbu is in Chicagoland, and we're going to thank Simbu for joining us. He is, of course, our level 5 grandpa, a primary actor at Basement of the Dead, and the best player at Fork Knife BRs. Are we gonna get any? I'm gonna get the look for those of us on YouTube. Mobsters giving the look. One of these days, we are going to live stream some Fork Knife, and we'll be able to see who is the best at Fork Knife BRs. Is it going to be Simbu? Is it going to be Mobster? We're going to find out here on Inferno Fox Gaming. Simbu, thank you so much for joining us. I think you said Taylor Swift was going to win the Super Bowl. I can't remember.
Yes. Taylor Swift is going to win the Super Bowl by at least 55 points. It's going to be a complete blowout. And pretty sure Travis Kelce will propose. She's going to break up with him instead of accepting it so she can write her next bazillion-dollar net worth song.
So over or under on your 15 there, Joe? I mean, Simbu.
Who?
You said over.
Over under is my over under is going to be 15 times that they show Taylor Swift during the Super Bowl.
Oh, you're saying
she doesn't have to be
15.
I'm saying my guess is 15. Everybody else can take over under. But now that doesn't have to be her live. It could be a picture of her. It could be something.
How many total seconds though? Because for how often that we're talking, her being shown, and the AFC Championship game, it was a total of 26 seconds. That's all it was, 26 seconds. So how many total seconds? Because it's usually anywhere from 20 to 40 seconds. So, and I will point out that us guys here, the ones who have watched or currently watch football, are the ones talking the most about Taylor Swift, probably because this is fun. At this point, we're poking fun at our media adorned culture, as it were.
We're talking 26 seconds just the game, because they did, that's not including after the game and the ceremony, right?
Right. Yeah, just during the game. Because after the ceremony, that what would be at least minutes upon minutes.
We're going like 34 seconds.
34 seconds. Jason the 13th. What's your number?
Well, if she's not there, you're not going to get any time, which is going to disappoint every Swiftie who tunes into the Super Bowl.
So is your number 0? Are you thinking that she's not going to physically be there?
Yep.
All right. Jason's got 0. Simbu, what do you got? How many seconds?
So if she's not there, the question is, though, are they going to cut to her in Japan watching it live on TV?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's the question. Just throw a monkey wrench into your 0.0 seconds.
Jason the 13th already said 0 seconds. So whether or not, well, how many seconds?
They'll have a live feed, like you said, like she'll be watching it.
It's gonna be a little picture in picture.
You'll have a computer with Taylor's face on the sideline for Travis Kelce.
Well, so like the holograms, where they had the holograms of like Coolio or something like that at his concerts, that kind of thing.
Or it'll be like a picture in picture. It'll just be a consistent in the top right corner of the screen, just consistent Taylor watch.
So how many seconds, Simbu?
I'm gonna go with it's Super Bowl. Based on what Goodell said recently in the interview about Taylor, I'm going to go with at roughly 60 seconds of the entire Super Bowl.
So 60, okay. So also want to take a big shout out and thank you to Stormrosesky of the Twitch and YouTube channels of Stormrosesky. Storm, thank you so much for joining us. You had predicted, I believe, Kansas City to win the Super Bowl. How many? No, 49ers. Oh yeah, you went with Mobster.
Nope.
On
Yep.
that.
49ers.
And how many seconds do you think Taylor Swift is going to be shown on the Super Bowl?
Oh, they could do breakaways and all of that, make montages of her past appearances and all that other kind of bull crap. So, maybe a total of 45. We'll go 45 seconds.
45 seconds.
Yeah.
So we have Mobster with 34, Jason the 13th with 0. We have Simba with 60, and we have Stormrosesky. Did you say 44 or 45?
45.
45. And last but not least, I want to thank my fantastic partner and partner in crime, Jamie Owls 87. Jamie Owls, thank you so much for joining us. I think you said you predicted. I keep messing this up. I'm saying that everybody predicted Kansas City, and apparently I'm wrong. Jamie Owls, I forget who you had predicted, but how many seconds do you think the TV coverage is going to show Taylor Swift during the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna go for a full minute.
So you're going 60 seconds, same as Simbu?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm just making some notes.
Go sports.
Because maybe the winner will win something.
Oh.
What is your guess?
Is it going to be
Inferno?
Is it going to be Price is Right style, closest without going over?
No, because if that's the case, I would say my seconds is 1. I would be the dick on Jason and say 1. Because then if she's on there for 44 seconds, then yeah.
I win.
So Mobster, you had 34 seconds, if I'm remembering.
Yeah. What's your guess, Inferno?
I am gonna say I will be at, so I'm gonna say 24 seconds. And that is based on when the ball gets kicked off and when the timer goes to 0. Ball gets kicked off, timer goes to 0. That's Taylor vision. Taylor vision is ball gets kicked off, timer goes to 0 at the end of regulation. And or any potential overtimes. So I'm saying a total of 24 seconds. Although it would really throw a curve if there was an overtime, then maybe you're going to lean more towards Jamie Owls and Simbu potentially. So it's going to be and you know there's going to be bets like this. There's going to be squares and
That's goes without saying. I'm sure Vegas has a spread on this already.
They've
Mhm.
probably
But
got a
now
ton of
can't yes, but can we clarify for time limit purposes? Now, Inferno Fox, you said from kickoff to end of game. Now, is that the finite time? So that doesn't include anything pre-game,
before and when
anything
Taylor
post-game.
So the end of the time when the Kansas City Chiefs win and Kelsey proposes on the field and she accepts and they say they're going to go to Disney World and all, flowers and puppies will fill the air. That all of that time after the game doesn't count. It's the timer goes to 0 and
So strictly within the parameters of the game itself.
yep, the 3.5 hours of the game.
Playtime
Yeah,
doesn't include. Does that include halftime as well during
it
the
does.
halftime show if they were to show her?
Yep, it does because it's
Super
within
Bowl commercials.
not the commercials because those are ads.
See that, but that's an important question.
It's really not because it's her presence during the game. It's while the game is being shown on TV, the commercial is not part of the game. Which commercials?
sorry.
Side bet.
Oh,
So is this only like live? If she's there, only live footage of her, or does it
Yes.
include like any video footage of like Stormrose had said like montage videos of her presences before?
correct. It's live. The game is going on, and she is
We
there.
we've probably lost every audience member that you ever had.
Oh no, they're either there. Our fantastic audience is either there and they're just cracking up like crazy, or maybe you're right. Maybe, so sorry, the audience. You're probably having fun with us, just
Now-
like we are.
I also want one other thing. If she is mentioned, does that count as a second?
It
No,
does not. Nope.
no, they
No
can mention
mentions.
her name millions of times, and that doesn't
Commercials.
count.
No before.
Do we
See
want
your
to start
face.
a side bet on the name drop counter?
No,
No.
no,
gosh,
no,
no.
I'm sure Vegas has one.
no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm told you Vegas has a spread of bets. I bet you if you guys looked it up, you would find the weirdest things ever. Like the
Mhm.
over under. Does Travis Kelce propose? Does Taylor break up with him? Like,
And I just still love the fact that this is a Super Bowl type celebration. Again, we're wearing hockey jerseys.
Yep.
Yes. shows how much we care about the Super Bowl.
And just goes how much we care about all of our football teams
The
getting
Stanley
knocked
Cup.
out. But one last thank you again to all of our fantastic fans and everything listening here on the podcast. If you're still there, thank you. And put in the comments section below if you're following on YouTube how many seconds you think Taylor is going to be on during the Super Bowl. And again, thank you so much. And we hope that the San Francisco 49ers beat the Chiefs. That's what we hope.